Mark and Paulette here, the two travelers in Mexico, and for the first time in Mexico, we are carless, but only temporarily. And why is that? Because we had to sell our foreign plated car before Paulette's residency ran out here in a couple months. So we actually sold our car through Carvana while we were still here in Mexico.
Yeah, we decided to drive out to Mexico and
We decided to drive out to Texas.
Texas. We decided to drive out to Texas from Mexico and sell our car.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to tell you about the whole process, and I'll let Mark start it since he started the process online.
Right. So I went on the website, Carvana.com, and I filled out the questionnaire that they have.
What were they asking?
That make and model, the year that it was made, odometer reading, and things of that nature. And then...
But they didn't ask for any pictures.
Well, they did, actually. They asked for a picture of the odometer.
But not of the car.
No, not of the car.
Okay.
They asked for pictures of the title and pictures of our driver's licenses.
Oh, they asked for the title. I didn't know that. Okay.
So I sent them all that information. They got back to me with an offer that we felt was maybe a little bit low, but still, I think, reasonable and okay. However, they also said that, we need 24 to 48 hours to verify that, in fact, you own the car and you can sell it. And so they got back to me via email about 1 day later and said that that the deal was on. Everything was good to go, and all I needed to do was just go online and create a payment source, how I wanted to be paid out. And
well, let's tell them about the choices.
Okay, the choices were I could get like a direct deposit into my banking account, or I could receive
what did they want?
A paper check.
No.
They wanted my banking login information
and our password
to be able to send the money to our account.
And I said, oh, hell no.
Nope.
Not going to happen.
Being an IT guy, I don't care if it's a secure transaction. We're not giving out our username and passwords.
I would never give that information
to our banking account. So we opted for the paper check. At that point,
it was a certified check.
Yeah. At that point, we started the drive to Texas because we were still in San Luis Potosi at the time.
Well, actually, we were in Texas when you told them all that information. They had messaged you, and when we were in Texas, you shared with me that they wanted our banking account number and our password. Right. And we were already in Texas, and I said, oh, hell no, that ain't going to happen. What is plan B? Right. We'll do the certified check instead.
She is correct. The deal was set up. The only thing I had left to do was schedule an appointment and a payment method. So at that point, sorry about that, we drove to San Antonio, Texas, and once we got there, then we went ahead and scheduled the appointment and the payment method, which we selected a paper check. We drove the car to the dealership, the Carvana dealership. We handed in all our paperwork. Paulette had saved all of our receipts from everything that we've ever had done on the car.
That's how I roll. I had a folder about that big from the time I bought the car with all the information on buying the car and so forth. Every single oil change, every single everything. Showing the records, because I figured that was good information to have with my car for whoever purchased it. They would know, what kind of shape that car was in.
And how much of that did they want?
Zero.
They
didn't want anything. I couldn't believe it. I was dumbfounded, really, because I thought all they had to do was put it in the trunk of the car and, the next person would have it. But nope, they said they didn't want anything.
Yeah. So we turned in all the paperwork, including the title, which they did not have us sign.
Yeah, which I was kind of shocked, but they
Yeah.
did have us sign like 3 forms.
Some other paperwork that said
3 or
that they
4
could
forms.
have the title put into their name and all of that kind of thing.
And I think it had your name on. You signed mostly everything. I think I signed one piece of paperwork because the way that the title is written is either or. So
Right.
we were both on the title of the car.
Right. So,
They went out to the car and looked at it. I gave
Yeah.
them both my fobs.
right, they both key fobs. They verified that it was, in fact, the car that we had advertised, or that we were trying to sell them.
Came out and he looked at
Uh-huh.
it and got inside, and I think he checked the odometer or whatever. And we were actually pretty close. Mark was pretty close on the odometer. When you took a picture, it was like at 53,000.
Right. 53,000. I estimated it would have 54,000 by the time we got there.
And it was like at 53.9
53.9.
when we drove it into the lot.
So, and then here's the other thing too, is that they want you to take off your license plates.
Now, let me say something about that. 2 of our friends had told us that when you sell a car, that you need to take the license plates off. I had never done that before myself. I had a problem once selling a car where I signed the pink slip or whatever and gave it to the gal, and she never registered my vehicle. And how did I know that? I knew that because she kept getting parking tickets every week. They were coming to me at my address. And luckily, I kept a copy of that. I mailed off all that stuff also to DMV. This was in California. And I guess DMV never got the paperwork. So luckily, I had copies of that. But it went around and around for a couple of months before I got this straightened out. And then they just, left me alone at that point. I gave them all of her information to go after her and not me. And she hadn't registered my car. So I have this fear actually of selling a car privately, that I would go with the person to the Department of Motor Vehicles to make sure that they register my car after that one situation.
Yeah. So after all was said and done, we got back to where we were staying. I logged on to the South Dakota Motor Vehicle website, which is where our vehicle
Well,
was
the
registered.
guy took the license plates off for us when we were
Right.
there,
Right.
then just handed them to me with my little license plate bling bling covers.
Yeah, so we still have those. Yay.
Stop. We'll
So-
get some that you like.
So, yeah.
You can't complain if I buy them and you don't.
Yeah.
So after we did that, they gave us that cashier's check, that certified cashier's check. From there, we took an Uber over to our sister credit union in San Antonio, Texas. I had already notified my personal banking person there that I was going to be doing this. So made the deposit there, took an Uber over there, made the deposit. They gave us the receipt, showing that that money had been deposited in our account. And then I let my gal from my South Dakota bank know that the deposit was made. So she was going to go ahead and release the funds rather than holding them for a period of time like they normally do.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that in there.
And that was all pretty quickly. That was just within few minutes of being in the bank, not very long at all. The money showed up into our account.
Well, it shows up, but that doesn't mean that it's actually there to use.
Right.
But Amber went ahead and went in and did her thing to go ahead and release it from the bank so that it wouldn't sit there for whatever it takes. I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice.
So, after that, we went back to where we were staying, and then I logged on to the South Dakota Motor Vehicles website, and through the website I was able to notify them that I had sold the car, who I had sold it to, so that the title would no longer, be in our name, and it would no longer be registered to us.
And then what I did is I sent an email to State Farm in South Dakota to let them know that my car had been sold. I'd actually called South Dakota before we actually made the trip to put it back on full coverage once I crossed the border into the US, and I let them know that I'd be selling my car. And then they just told me to notify them as soon as my car was sold. So I notified them, and I did the attachment of the front sheet from Carvana that showed the day that we sold our car to them with the license plate number, VIN number, whatever. I mean, not license plate number, the VIN number. But I was surprised also, let me go back a second, that they didn't ask for registration. They didn't ask for anything. Maybe because they do their own checking out, I don't know, but I would think that they would want to know that car's registered in my name.
They did all that checking beforehand, before they said that their offer would stand.
But I was surprised. I just figured that was important information that they would want to verify. But they didn't.
Well, not through the paper registration. I'm sure they did through the other ways that they have of checking registrations.
Whatever that is.
So, all in all, I would say the experience at Carvana was fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just as smooth as could be.
It was as simple, easy, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, we were out of there. I took a picture of my baby car before, walking away from her. But yeah, it was a great experience. And some of our friends and family that knew that we were selling our cars said, well, why don't you check with CarMax? Why don't you check with some car dealer places? Why don't you check with, maybe we're lazy, I don't know, but we just figured we had to sell it. We wanted to get back as soon as we could. And it was just kind of falling into place. So we just went with Carvana, and we had a great experience. I know somebody that sold their car from Mexico that had to sell it to Carvana, and I also know somebody that sold it to CarMax. So pick one of them. I wasn't sure. I mean, how long is that going to take, right? To go to different places, different dealers, see what they would offer you. A lot of times they want to trade in. There is no trade in. I'm not buying another vehicle. So yada, yada. It just made sense to do it cut and dry and be done with it.
Not to mention that we had a short period of time in which we had to be back at our house.
Right.
Because our house sitters needed to be back at their house. And
we were at their house.
States.
They were at our house.
Yeah. So it was ultimately Carvana was just the way to go for us. It was like a smooth, easy deal. No complaints whatsoever about how things went down. I do want to mention though that you can't simply just walk up to Carvana.
Right.
You have to, and try to sell your car, you have to make an appointment.
Right.
Online.
You have to schedule an appointment, and they give you, like, you could pick the day on a calendar and then the hour that you want to go in.
Yeah. So.
And we actually got there a little bit early, and it wasn't a problem.
Yeah. No, he took us in. You can't actually walk into the dealership. You have to ring the bell, and then they come out and get you. Yeah. All in all, we're very happy with the Carvana transaction.
Yeah, I would give it a 10.
Yeah, me too.
It was a great. It was a really good experience.
Yeah.
So leave us a comment below if any of you guys have sold your car to Carvana or CarMax or any other.
Yeah, or gone through Auto Trader in the United States to sell your car. Just let us know if you have had an experience with selling your car from Mexico to somewhere in the United States, what that experience has been.
Again, it was a 10 out of 10. I would highly recommend them. I can't say all the Carvanas work the same, but the one in San Antonio was very good, very simple, very easy.
Yeah.
I mean, how long do you think we were in there from the beginning to the end? Maybe 20 minutes?
Yeah.
20 minutes, something like that? So, and Mark has checked already to see if they've listed our car for sale.
Yeah, they
But
didn't.
they haven't, not yet.
They haven't listed it yet, but it'll be interesting to see what
Price they ask.
they ask for it.
Yeah.
So,
And they had a really cool thing there. They had like this computer animated, I don't know what you want to call it, screen thing, like where you could put in what kind of car you were looking for, the year you were looking for, stuff like that. And then it was just a touch screen where you could kind of just move it up and look at the different cars that they were offering.
right.
And then also they had one of those elevator things, like where they put the car up on a rack-like thing in
Yeah.
in a round circular building
Yeah.
to pull it down.
It was all glass, so you could see from the outside too.
Yeah, and
We
I think
didn't-
I have a picture. We'll post some pictures.
We didn't get to see that in operation, but it looks like it would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it really does. And there was nobody in there when we got there. We were the only ones.
No, because I think they just do stuff by appointment,
Yeah.
so there's never more than one customer in there at a time.
And there was only the one person that helped us.
Yeah.
So, and you know, blah, blah, what am I trying to say? Anyhow, we just thought this was good information to share with you guys. For anybody that does need to sell their car, you do have that option of nationalizing it, which we did not do here. Part of it was because we did want to get a vehicle that was more off the ground, and that's what we did. We ordered a new car, an SUV, the same model that I had before, which is a Hyundai. My car was almost 8 years old, and it was fabulous. I mean, we never had any problems
Yeah.
at all. So that's what we decided to go with,
Right.
is another one.
And that'll be in a following video where we talk
Buying
about
a car in
buying
Mexico.
a car in Mexico, because it is a lot different than buying a car in the U.S.
That's true.
So, all right.
Well, as always, from the two travelers in Mexico,
What she did.
bye guys.
Bye.